What if I told you that irreversible healing was possible? Now, what does irreversible mean? I know it can be a confusing word. It means permanent, cannot be undone. So let's get ready to armor up, because I'm going to take you on my journey of irreversible healing. And it comes from a child who has had so much trauma. The adulthood and the adult life I lived was led in brokenness. Everything I did, everyone I talked to had to know that I was a child survivor of sexual abuse. Had to know my daddy left when I was 3 years old. That was probably the first trauma that I realized. I was a daddy's girl. I told my mom I would cry every night, and she would have to bring me for weeks to a payphone because we didn't have enough money to keep a phone in the house. And he wouldn't answer. Fast forward to years of not knowing what was going on in my childhood. The brain is a really powerful thing, and it protects us. It keeps us from remembering things that are too hard. And so around 11 or 12 years old, when I realized I was being abused, I tried to tell the adults in my life, and they didn't believe me. Or they tried to tell me that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, and that I should just get on with it. And so for decades, I had to live this pretense that nothing happened to me, that it was all in my imagination. And I was good at that. I can't wear a poker face today because in 2010, God told me no more. And I had to take a stance and decide, if I'm going to step into this truth, there is risk. I may not ever be able to be around the people that I love the most because I didn't know if they were going to be okay with my healing. And I have to realize that my journey of healing isn't just for me. So back in 2004, I got saved, and I thought, well, this is the answer, right? Jesus is the healer. But I was still, for years before that, pretending. And then I thought I did all the work. I thought I had all the answers. And in 2021, after a couple years of empty nesting, I went from teen mom to empty nester, and I just realized I didn't know who the heck I was or what I wanted out of life, because all those years of pretending that these things didn't happen, I was pleasing other people. And so when I became a teen mom, it was making sure my kids were okay. And then when I was at work, it was making sure my employers were happy. So in 2021, when I realized I don't even know what makes me happy, I thought Jesus was the answer. The problem was I was trying to fall in line with who I am in Christ, but also living in a life of sin. And you can't do that. Well, I'm here to tell you this healing that I've been on began January 16th of 2022. I had gone through such deep brokenness that I really didn't think healing was fully possible. I thought, this is just how it's going to be. I'm going to go to work every day. The impact I'm going to have on this world isn't going to be so great. I wanted to go back. I wanted to just change it. I just wanted, maybe if I grew up somewhere else, maybe if I knew what I know now and I could go back and fix it, I'd be better off and I could make a difference in the world. But C.S. Lewis says, you can't go back and change the past, but you can start where you are and change the ending, right? You can't change your beginning, but you can change your ending. And so when I decided on January 16th of 2022 to leave behind a safe environment, a love that I had never known before, to just trust that God was going to bring something to me that was beyond measure, the thing I realized is all this love I was looking for, because I so freely give it, unconditional love, I couldn't receive it. I put limitations and conditions on the love that people gave me. because I wasn't meeting expectations. I wasn't good enough. My trauma caused so much worthlessness in my life that I would just dump everything I had on others and gave nothing for myself. I want to encourage you, because no matter where you are today in your healing journey or how you got there, we have the capacity to take the full authority granted to us from our Father in heaven through the blood shed on the cross to step on the head of the enemy. We will trample him. We've seen it today. We have seen him try to take us down, and he can't. Irreversible healing is something he can never take from us, because when we know who we are and whose we are, and that we have eternal significance in our life that our enemy knows about. Ladies, we have a calling. We have been called. And the enemy knows our calling will impact his eternal placement in the lake of fire. Okay? And so if we take our authority back and stand in it, we can't be moved. So I want you to get ready to armor up, because the armor of God every day must be placed on us. Okay? It's not put it on right before you get into a fight, or you're going, you know what, I got this big job interview, I got to go for that. Or I'm arguing with my sister and I got to put on the full armor of God so she doesn't hurt my heart. No. This is every day a battle against the spiritual realms. I'm just going to read to you a little verse here from, it's not a little verse, Ephesians 6:12 in the Passion Translation tells us, your hand-to-hand combat is not with human beings, but with the highest principalities and authorities operating in the rebellion under the heavenly realms. For they are a powerful class of demons and evil spirits that hold this dark world in bondage. See, we learn at a young age how to handle grief and trauma. Has anyone here been unscathed by grief and trauma, loss, addiction? Raise your hand. Have you been unscathed? Look around, ladies. None of us have been untouched by the dark world. So we have to get together. We have to pray. We have to armor up, because our enemy is banking on us staying stuck, staying in that place where we don't believe in our calling, because God doesn't call those that are so weak and broken, but he does. Because he, as someone said, he doesn't call those who are equipped, he equips the called, right? Jesus Christ declared victory over the darkness, and he is the one true irreversible healer. Standing with him, you cannot be touched. My heart was shattered in a million pieces when I realized that I had this lack of love for myself. You know, they say that you can't love someone if you don't love yourself. That wasn't true for me. I could love hard. I can love deep. And I don't know how. But I'm starting to love myself. And God has brought me to a place of love, being loved by him through other people. And he's repaired and restored relationships. And he's restored and repaired my heart. Those scars that he's healing up are strengthening my heart to the point it can never be broken again. I will deal with pain. I will deal with hurt, but I will never be broken that way again. And I will not function in brokenness any longer. I had committed myself to live for the Lord, and I promised him I would never sacrifice his will for my own again. Never. I won't do it. It won't happen. And God has blessed my obedience, and he's restoring all that the locust had long devastated. So ladies, I ask you to consider as you leave here today, no matter what your story is, our hearts weren't built for hurting. They were built for irreversible healing. You don't have to accept things as they are right now. You don't have to stand in lack. You don't have to stand in less than God has for you. Irreversible healing is possible, and when you leave here today, I hope you decide to accept whatever it is and wherever you are, because God will move, and he's moving in you now. So ladies, I just ask you to armor up every day. Put on Ephesians 6, the full armor of God, and he's with you.